This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by hampvideo.com. I'm standing here with John Barnes of the Upper Valley region of New Hampshire. And John, you made a decision regarding a controversy that's been going on in Free State circles to try and build a bridge, and I want you to tell me a little bit about what you've done and why.
Well, I've taken in Christopher here, who was severely abused by his fellow porcupines at the Porcupine Festival. I feel that you know, if we get a reputation for being this paranoid and treating newcomers to our state.
Well, let's go back a little bit. What do you mean by abused?
Well, he was hounded. There was a witch hunt. And there was this rumor got started that he was either a possible Fed or some sort of decoy or some sort of bad person from the government or something. I mean, the rumors were never very specific. But it was... the reports I got of what happened to him is his campsite got searched, you know, he was hounded. There was open defamation, and in both terms of outright slander in front of 300 people at porcfest. There was also libel on the internet. He consulted the internet providers, and they admitted that it was outside their internet rules, and a lot of this was removed. But basically what happened is fear got the better of a lot of porcupines, and we have to learn to conquer our fear. Fear is an irrational function, and it's conquered with knowledge. And the way you go out and you deal with your fears, you go out and you learn about whatever it is you're afraid of. If you're afraid of heights, you learn how to jump out of an airplane with a parachute. If you're afraid of firearms, you learn how to shoot a rifle. This is just how you conquer your fear, and this is something we need to learn how to do. Now, it's unfortunate. I think a lot of it was accidental. There were a lot of misunderstandings, and the fact that it took place on a weekend when everybody was up in Lancaster, away from their office, away from their computers, maybe they didn't have the opportunities that they would have had to do the research and find out who he really was and what his background was. That would have made a difference.
Well, I guess something else significant here is that, Chris, you've decided you want to go on the record with your face showing, which I guess you never denied me before, but in the past, when I've talked to you, I've just went ahead and, you know, blurred out your face as a courtesy, but to your credit, you just decided you don't want to do that anymore and you want to be open.
Yeah, I think it's important right now that I take this opportunity with the spotlight that's been presented to me and use it for a positive cause. I know that a lot of people around the porcfest and even following porcfest felt that I was relevant and that they thought I might be a potential threat to the security of the liberty movement. I think that I'm really not so relevant individually. I'm probably only relevant insofar as I can be a messenger, and I might be able to help the liberty movement by delivering a message of what is the enemy, okay? What is the true enemy? People think that maybe a federal infiltration would be the enemy of this movement. They fear imprisonment, perhaps. They feel that you know, the government having intelligence about this movement might be a potential threat to the movement, and I would refute those claims entirely. And I'd like everyone, as he says, the fellow porcupines, to know that the true enemy here is not one man. It's not the government. The true enemy of the liberty movement, as John even said, is the individual fear, the fear that lies inside the hearts of all of us. Because a federal infiltration, or any sort of government infiltration of a peaceful civilian movement, really doesn't do anything. It can't stop the movement, it can't block the movement. But what can block the movement and the progression towards liberty would be the fear in all of our hearts. A federal agent cannot force you to live the way that they would prescribe for you. The government can't force you to do anything. The only reason why people choose to yield to that prescription for a way of life is because they fear the consequences. I've seen a lot of people that are very afraid. They want to live a certain way, but they're afraid to do so because they feel that they might be incarcerated. They fear imprisonment. Well, you know, if you're going to be imprisoned physically, compare that in severity to the imprisonment in your heart, in the imprisonment of fear. Okay? The real bars around you, the real bars around each and every one of us that disallows the free spirit from coming out is our fear. And if we can overcome that, then this movement can become successful. But the liberty movement will not be successful in the absence of overcoming and conquering fear.
You had something you wanted to add, John?
Yes. Mr. G. Edward Griffin has something on point on this topic. And he says, the timid cannot defend liberty or anything else. If once you decide to be afraid, you will always be afraid. You cannot go back. Fear is the one thing that's holding this movement back. Imagine if everybody were able to cast aside their fear. Not just the porcupines, but the general population. There are a whole bunch of them sitting out there. They know something is wrong. They know that they're being robbed and their liberties are being taken away. But they say, well, what can I do? I'm just one person. Imagine if all those people at one time could stand up at once. What would the feds? The feds would be like those grasshoppers in that ant movie, when they'd finished plundering the ants, and then the head grasshopper went and said, "We have to go back and kill all those ants." And the other grasshopper said, "What do you mean, boss? What? We got this money, we've got this food. What do we need to kill them all for?" "Because there's more of them than there are of us, and if they ever figure that out, we're finished." That's what we need to figure out. Everybody, at some point, needs to go walk outside their door and talk to their neighbors and start asking, what is going on?
Well, now, kind of reverting back to the whole controversy that's been going on, Christopher, I guess I did have one question that's kind of outstanding right now, and I guess it's been some discussion on the Free Keene forum. Did you request that the Free Keene thread be taken down, and did you request, or did you hint at legal action if the thread was not taken down?
Oh, certainly. It was actually a few different forums. Basically, there was a witch hunt thread on a few different forums. I believe the Free State Project forum as well as the Free Keene forum. And while I do completely believe in free speech and I support free speech, I'm also a business owner. And my livelihood, my personal livelihood, as well as the livelihood of my contractors, my vendors, and all of my business associates, rides on the reputation of my company. I felt that there was some defamatory comments, specifically libelous comments, in these threads, and I had requested that the moderator remove the defamatory comments.
Drug warriors don't like hempvideo.com, but you will.
You're gonna get arrested for looking at a car, right? Take your pussy.
If it's created by a New Hampshire drug felon, it can't be all bad. hempvideo.com